Hello again. I think that most people in Britain are now thoroughly familiar with the new conventions of stage and screen, which are that any and every production, no matter where and when it might be set, must have a quota of at least 5 or 10% of black actors. We know too that if a production centres around a single character, Dorothy and Wizard of Oz say, then it is considered courteous and wise to award that part to a black person, so that black people do not appear to be used only as extras. This is of course an ideological matter and owes nothing at all to artistic integrity or endeavour. It is simply how things are done these days, and it would be a brave producer who wantonly flouted such unspoken rules in this day and age. From time to time, this produces unintentionally humorous effects. There has, for instance, been a certain amount of hilarity about Britain's National Theatre production of a play called Underdog, the Other Bronte. Now, of course, the common riposte to those who raise their eyebrows at the sight of a black person playing a character from Shakespeare or an elf in a fantasy based upon Tolkien's Lord of the Rings is that these people are imaginary, and so it is quite possible to imagine them as black as it is to think of them as being white. This is a fair point. Emily Bronte, though, was not an imaginary person at all. She was a real woman who lived in Yorkshire during the 19th century, and she was not black. The National Theatre has cast white women as Charlotte and Anne Bronte, but a biracial woman to play the part of Emily Bronte. This creates a most distracting effect, a dissonance which cannot help but draw attention away from the play itself. In this particular case, the chief emotion thus engendered has not been indignation or anger, but rather merriment. This is because the three women on stage are supposed to be sisters, and yet one manifestly has another father, different from the other two. This has provoked amusing comments, which I'm sorry to say include the quite unacceptable expression 4x4. For those unfamiliar with this demotic phrase, it refers to a certain type of woman, not infrequently living on a council estate, who has 4 children by 4 different men. Typically, at least one of these children is likely to be dual heritage or biracial. The suggestion is being made by the use of this pejorative expression in connection with the National Theatre's new production that having 3 sisters, 2 of them white and the other biracial, indicates perhaps that poor Mrs. Bronte, their mother, might have been a 4x4 herself. I record this merely in the interests of following social trends which I observe, and not because I am endorsing or indeed even approve of such sentiments. I am sorry to say, though, that when I heard this said, it did cause me to smile.